Hey guys, I'm back again, part 2 here of this Hell in a Cell results and opinions video. I did record this a while ago, but my YouTube was doing dickheads. It decided to bloody stop recording the video, and I lost everything I did. So I'm going to do this again. I'm happy though, because I'm reviewing a great match at this moment, the main event, because Alberto Del Rio defeated John Cena and CM Punk in a triple threat Hell in a Cell to win the WWE Championship. Now, who the hell expected Del Rio to win? Okay? I didn't, for one, which made it a huge shock. And it made me beg the question, why make Del Rio lose the title to only win it again 2 weeks later? It boggles the mind why they did that. But enough of that. Let's just go on with the match details, shall we? Cena and Punk take turns at beating down Del Rio in the corner, which is a great way to start the match, beating down a guy who was the most aggressive in the build-up package going into this thing. Punk's getting more cheers than Cena, which is funny. Cena gets a shitload of boos. Ha ha ha! Great. Cena gets beat down by Punk with a huge pop for that. Crowd are actually into this main event, and it shows how much, not much has happened really so far, and the crowd are going mental. This is like an old school crowd style reaction to this match. Punk goes for a crossbody to Cena on the outside. He realises Del Rio's right behind him, moves out of the way, and Del Rio flies right through the ropes onto Cena. Punk then hits a suicide dive onto both men on the outside when Cena's about to give Del Rio an FU onto the outside. So that, great counter. Well, in a counter, which is a fantastic way of breaking up a move and hitting both guys. Fantastic. Let's go Cena. CM Punk chants are ringing out. This is prevalent for a lot of the night. Looks like people love that. And that actually, when Punk and Cena were in the ring, they were literally getting cheered for everything they did. So people really do love that match. Hell, who didn't love the match at Money in the Bank at SummerSlam? I love both. Punk gets a chair, Cena whips him out, and Punk goes on to the pit. Basically, Punk gets a chair outside the ring. Cena then gets the chair off him, whips him. Punk goes onto the steel steps, taunts him, going, "Ha ha, you can't get me!" And Del Rio pushes him into the wall. Yeah, he bounced off that pretty well. Cena goes for the FU, Del Rio counters, goes for the cross arm breaker. Punk then hits a stiff kick to the head. Punk gets Cena into a neck breaker, and Del Rio into a DDT at the same time. They're both in their positions, and Punk plants both men. Ingenuity working right there. Covers both Cena and Del Rio, gets 2 though. Punk then has been lacerated. He's been lacerated by the cell. He's bleeding on the back slightly. This is physicality, people. This is Hell in a Cell. It's exactly what it should be doing. Yes! It's not blood all over the place, but I'll take any form of physicality and body damage for what it was worth. He then gets a table from underneath the ring, knees Cena in the head. Punk then gets thrown face first into the cell with a sickening sound. It is really, it's cringing. Cena goes into the ring and gets a chair shot to the gut from Del Rio. So far, this match has mostly been a one-on-one thing, though, where one guy's outside the ring, 2 guys are in, and I hate that. You all know how I acted to the Fatal 4-Way at Night of Champions. I don't like that. I like it when all the complete bedlam goes on, where each guy take a guy and just beat the crap out of him, and then when they've beat the crap out of him, keep him in the ring, so then when the other two are beating up each other, they can just insert him back in quickly. I prefer that. Seriously, I honestly do. Del Rio then hits a backdrop on Cena through the chair, which is the chair just gets mangled. Great move, but Cole calls it a backbreaker. Again, Cole, what the hell? Get your terminology right. But it's the only mistake you've made so far tonight, so you've made it this far without it. Well done. Del Rio does a "you can't see me" taunt to get into Cena's face. Classic. Del Rio runs at Cena in the turnbuckle and misses. Cena then goes for a move, but then gets pushed off by Punk. Side suplex on Del Rio by Punk. Covers and gets 2. Then followed up by a suplex-style Falcon Arrow. It's a lift-up Falcon Arrow move. Great move. Loved seeing that. Great to know Punk using a lot of his move ability there for that. Del Rio gets in a headlock on Punk. Cena then hits a leg drop onto both men and gets 2. Punk then goes for a GCS. Del Rio hits a chair into the gut and gets onto the backs of both Punk and Cena. The chair is then put... This is another chair at this point. The chair is then put on Cena as Punk is placed on top of them. Then Del Rio goes up and hits a senton splash off the top of the rope onto the chair, which is sandwiched between Punk and Cena. Great move, but... It's a great move, but a huge but. He slightly misses it. His back of his head and the upper area of his shoulders get on it. The rest of his body doesn't. If he managed to do that with a little bit less speed and intense anticipation for it, it would have been better. It looked very sloppy. 2 count on Punk, 2 count on Cena. Definitely showed that the botch didn't make any difference. Did make a difference. Fuck it. If it hit properly, could have been a 3. Yeah. Punk then pushes Del Rio over his shoulder and out of the ring, hits the steps. Ouch! I don't know if it was his arm or his head. It was something, and I'm not too sure what it was. Cena hits the FU on Punk, covers, and this is what really gets me. Del Rio no-sold whatever happened outside the ring and broke up the count. Now, I'd be showing effects on your arm or your head, but come on, Del Rio, you can't just no-sell landing on the steps. Seriously, I spot these things, damn it. Del Rio tries to lock in the crossarm breaker, but Cena then blocks it. Punk then flips him over the top rope and lands on both of them on the outside. Punk then hits the GTS. 1, 2, Cena kicks out after Del Rio breaks up the count. Del Rio throws Punk into the steps and throws a steel chair onto his knee. This reminded me of all the damage Punk's knee had in the Night of Champions street fight. Good to remember the knee slaying because Punk was really, really writhing in agony from it. It was fun to remember that. Cena rolls up Del Rio and gets 2. Cena gets thrown into the cell with force, and then the chair gets whacked onto his knee by Del Rio. Punk goes to the top rope, hits a savage elbow on Del Rio after he's knocked down, covers and gets 2. Cena then goes for his 5 moves of doom, but Punk then counters the 5-knuckle shuffle. Punk goes back up again for the elbow. Del Rio pushes Punk off through the table. Yeah, through the fucking table. Great spot. I didn't expect it. Great, even though the table was there. I don't know, wondering what the hell they were going to use it for. Good spot. Cena then locks in the STF on Del Rio. Rodriguez then does something fun on the outside. He knocks out the referee, grabs the key to the cell, opens the door, throws a pipe in there. Cena then FUs him outside the cell. Del Rio then hits Cena in the ribs with a pipe, and then locks Cena out of the cell. What a great idea! It's a fantastic idea! Mind ability of Del Rio. He's definitely a smart guy to do that. Del Rio hits a German suplex pin, but Punk kicks out. Punk counters a German suplex pin and rolls up for 2. Enziguri by Del Rio, but Punk then kicks out of the cover for that. Punk then counters an arm breaker and kicks away at Del Rio, followed up by a leg lariat. Cena, then the outside, realises he's now locked out. I can only say one thing for this. You are fucked, Cena. You are out of here. We're getting a new champion. Finally, something good. Punk hits a bulldog and goes to the top rope for a savage elbow. Del Rio stands up for it, though. Still hits it. Covers for 2. Del Rio grabs the pipe and whacks Punk in the head with it. Punk gets up the GTS for it. Del Rio then strikes him with the pipe a couple of times. 1, 2, 3. Del Rio is your new WWE champion. A really shitty finish, in my opinion, because it really showed how much of a dickhead, really, that Del Rio is. But then again, he's booked that way, so I really have no complaints about it too much. Cena then beats down Del Rio when the cell gets raised. Then 2 masked men come in. Who could they be? Oh, of course, it couldn't be anyone else, but it's Miz and R-Truth. I will also mention they got into the back of the arena and beat up Air Boom earlier in the night. Some guy in the Bleacher Report said, hold a second, why did security let them back in? They beat up security to get back in there? Use your fucking head. Nonetheless, Laurinaitis and R-Truth, Laurinaitis and Triple H come out, but the cell gets lowered. They don't know who's done it. They complain to the production guy. Did you lower the cell? No. The entire locker room then comes out to try and unlock the cell. R-Truth and Miz are beating up the cameramen. They're beating up the referees. JR is going crazy. Just like the old days. He's screaming at these two saying, what the hell are you doing? Crazy, crazy people. It's fantastic. The cops then use the bolt cutters to go in and arrest Truth and Miz. JR is still going crazy. Great to see JR injecting the emotion that sometimes Cole and Booker T do not convey to the audience. That's what makes him a good fucking commentator. Triple H then whacks the Miz after he's arrested in handcuffs on the ground and beats the shit out of him. And Triple H is then dragged away to close the show. What a clusterfuck ending. Great match, though. Fantastic. It wasn't as violent as previous years as you'd expect from a Hell in a Cell, but intense, fun, felt like a main event, and, to be honest, unpredictable, no idea who could win it, and it was fantastic, with great moves, great moments all over the place, never died down at any point. It was great overall, but it does lose a few marks. There was lack of psychology by quite a bit. There was not too much selling. There wasn't too much working on injured body parts either, which of course to me loses it. Del Rio blatantly no-sold, which I hated. The notable ability of leaving one wrestler outside of the ring all the time didn't happen with me either. This could have gone on a bit longer, in my opinion. I would have preferred this to go on another 5-10 minutes to make the physicality of the match really shine through. Then again, I'm happy with what I got, though. And I actually thought, it also didn't have an ending that was blatant cheating, because I would have preferred something more, wholesome. Like a pinfall or a submission finish. I would have loved Cena to somehow rip that door off and get back in there, and then get to make him tap out or something. I would have preferred that. But nonetheless, a great match, fun, loved it. 4.25 stars. People may think that's a nice move, and I'm being generous, but then again, I enjoyed every single minute. So what's there not to love? Now we get on to the final overall thoughts, right? This pay-per-view had promise. It did, because the 4 out of the 5 matches that were on when this pay-per-view got officially build-up finished, okay, 4 matches out of the 5, excluding the Divas match, I was looking forward to. But, again, a pay-per-view is done with lopsided build, just like Night of Champions, where the main event's the only thing that matters, and the crowd only seemed to care about it because it showed. And which, to be honest, it was a great match, but it still annoys me how only one match can really get the crowd going. The buy rate will probably be low for this. They had 2 weeks to do it, which was made everything really, really average. Everything was average, or worse than that. A Divas match, which should have concluded that way last month, and honestly, it was great for what it was, but I'm not going to, go all high and mighty on it. Nothing, great moves, nothing more. Impromptu IC title match didn't have much substance to it. A Hell in a Cell match with Henry and Orton that didn't do too much to label its importance from it being a world title match. An impromptu tag match, which is good for what it was worth, really. Not much to really talk about, but it was still okay. 2 other matches that proved great in terms of their feud rivalry here, but it wasn't too good due to crap crowd reactions. And you know what? This event, overall, it will only be remembered for one match, which is the main event, and its aftermath. And it shows this gimmick pay-per-view will need to end, because it had so many areas of substance it could have had, but it did lack substance to me. It wasn't the best show in the world, because it lacked basically the crowd weren't into it much. Apart from the main event, which hated me. There's a lack of in-ring psychology in most of the matches, which really did bother me a lot. And I felt it felt really subpar. The event wasn't needed. It was like a crossover to the next pay-per-view. Much like Night of Champions felt, in all fairness. But you know what? Despite that, this show did have good points. I'm not going to deny it. They weren't too many. There was some it was worse than average, I think. You know what? I'll be nice here. 4.5 out of 10. It wasn't the worst thing in the world, but for the good points, I'll give it merit for it. And you think that is generous for me. 4.5 out of 10. Yeah, it is a bit generous, I know. And guys, that is the end of my Hell in a Cell results video. I again apologise for how late this was. I should have put it out yesterday, but I was so tired and I had a long day at college. It's my longest day of the week on a Monday, so please, next time Vengeance comes around, please don't expect... If I do get a review out on a Monday, that's great, but please remember, it might not happen. So please, I will tell you guys if anything happens on Facebook or the bulletin thing. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Do you want to hear more from me? I've got my In the News tomorrow. I've then got a rant. I've got a load of things coming up. It's awesome, I know. You guys, if you wanted to, if you haven't, click that subscribe button up there. It'll make me very happy if you do. Want to comment on any of the matches? Yeah, you know where to go, comment section. And guys, if you want to add me on Facebook for all the chatter in the world, the link will also be there in the description box. So guys, I've been Cream Crazy, you've been people watching. This is my late Hell in a Cell results video, and I will see you tomorrow night for my In the News bulletin. I hope you'll be there to join me for it. See you guys.